Welcome back to our next episode of the Endeavor Charter Talks podcast. In our first podcast, we shared a lot of information on why you might want to implement some safety protocols when we talk about digital citizenship. We gave you some ideas on resources to help you navigate these muddy waters. And today, Melissa Culver and Renee Johnson are going to share the how and give you some resources to help you implement these ideas. Renee Johnson has a multiple subject teaching credential with an authorization in computer science. She is a Google certified educator, level 1 and level 2, and holds a digital innovative certificate from CUE and Fresno Pacific University. She teaches robotics and computer science classes here at Endeavor, as well as advises families on personalized learning paths. Since 2003, she has been teaching her own children through Western Sierra charter schools. One now has a bachelor's degree in computer science and works as a software engineer. 2 are currently in college, and 1 is here with us at Endeavor. She has a passion for guiding students to responsibly create, collaborate, and share digitally with others. And we introduced Melissa Culver in our first Digital Citizenship podcast. She is also the technical advisor here for all of our podcasts. So let's listen.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today. We have several exciting talking points today that are designed to help parents with the area of digital citizenship. This is our second conversation on this topic. If you missed the previous podcasts, you can go to our parent help website located on our school website to locate any of those podcast links. Renee, you have background knowledge on digital citizenship. Let's go ahead and talk about one particular item that you find interesting.
Okay, yes, there are a lot of resources out there to help teachers and parents teach young people how to be good digital citizens. But yes, I would like to share one in particular. If you're looking for a fun and easy interactive approach to teach children about digital citizenship, I would go with Interland. This is a game geared for children ages 7 to 12, but of course it could be enjoyed by older children as well. There is a lot of reading involved, so if your 7 or 8-year-old is not a strong reader yet, you could just play along with your child and read it aloud. This game covers topics to help develop skills needed to be good digital citizens. The topics include share with care, don't fall for fake, secure your secrets, it's cool to be kind, I like that one, and when in doubt, talk it out. As they answer questions correctly, they move on in the game. If they answer a question incorrectly, they'll get a hint and get to try again. It's great as a standalone game, or if you feel like expanding upon the game, you can download lessons that include vocabulary, discussion questions, and even fun printable activities.
And for any parents who are curious about using this resource at home, many of the links and resources that we're discussing today are available in the description area down below for each of our podcasts, as well as the YouTube version of the podcast. Renee, that sounds like a phenomenal resource. I really like that it's very accessible to students at home. I also like the gamified learning component, that students forget that they're learning about digital citizenship while playing various games. I also like the fact that there are subcategories, so that the students, when they're finished learning about category A, well, then there's a whole new world to explore, a whole lot more to understand under the category of digital citizenship. Now, what are some other resources that are accessible to our families at home to further this discussion?
Another resource that I like to use is Common Sense Media, which also provides great digital citizenship lessons. These lessons are divided up into grade levels and topics to make it very easy to find what you're looking for. Parents can easily access a lesson, print the handouts, view videos with their children, and even print posters to display around the house. It's super easy to create an account, and it's completely free. Parents will go to commonsensemedia.org and just click the join button in the top right-hand corner. The next step is to click on the For Educators tab in the top left-hand corner and then just click Sign In. In the box that pulls up, you can log in with a Google account if you have a Gmail account. If not, scroll all the way down and click on the Create Your Account button. When asked for information, be sure to include that you're a teacher. When asked for the school that you teach at, you will click Homeschool. And from there, parents can utilize curriculum resources and student games.
I really like that this tool is so easy for parents to access. So easy for them to create an account. And yes, choosing homeschool is an option. Well, that will give them access to that free account. It is quite delightful when the account creation portion is so easy to maneuver. The Parent tab also contains a lot of excellent resources as well. We mentioned this in our first podcast for the year. Parents can find reviews for apps, websites, and movies. Now, Renee, what is your experience with using this software? Can you tell me more about how to use a lesson, for example?
Yes, of course. The lesson plans are located under the Digital Citizenship tab. All grade levels are listed, but you can also use the filter by grade tool located at the top of the page. So for example, if I have a 7th grader at home, I could filter the lessons by 7th grade to easily see what's available for my child. From there, I could move through each lesson in order as listed, or just pick and choose which ones I think are important in our situation. Each lesson gives an approximate lesson time, specific instructions about how to teach the lessons. It includes a printable PDF if you prefer to have it on paper in front of you. It also includes printable handouts, family activities, and tips, and a quiz.
So good of you to mention these great details. Thank you so much. Some of our parents have never been to this website before. Now that our community has a brief overview of where to access these resources, I have a feeling that they will access these tools more efficiently. Thank you so much for pointing out how there are so many great resources inside of each lesson. Parents can utilize the video content if they choose. They can also utilize the Google document resources, and parents also have access to those PDF materials. Each parent can scale up or scale down any lesson in order to meet their individual needs.
Yeah, for sure. It's very, very versatile. So, Melissa, what are some other ways that parents might use these resources in their homes?
Yes, maybe they don't use any of the resources in their original form, quite frankly. Some might use all of them and some might use none of them. For example, some parents may just gather key talking points from the materials and then have a family discussion at dinner. Or maybe some of the ideas highlighted in a video become a discussion prompters as the family takes a walk in their neighborhood. The lessons are quite formulaic, but nothing says you have to use the tools in the way that they were presented. For example, maybe you want your child to incorporate these themes into various things that you're studying in your classroom. They could write an essay, you could have a debate, you could have a discussion, your children could do an art project, or maybe you design a family board game. And then tucked into each of these things that you might already be doing in your classroom, maybe you're infusing discussions on the topic of harassment and online bullying, or password safety, or examining how much time they spend on screens each day, or discussing the impact of too much screen time, like being lethargic at the end of the day, being angry or short-tempered, being socially distanced, or nervous. For example, if your children land on a website, receive a text message or an email where someone is phishing with a PH, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, phishing, trying to gather private information, how do your children know how to respond to that? How do you dodge a fraudulent email? Maybe in the context of designing that board game, what happens when you roll the dice? So it sounds more like fun than it does, oh, we're learning about digital citizenship. In this context of doing school, they're also learning about ways to be safe online. Another few examples would be a reader's theater, or a puppet show, or writing a song. Really, there are limitless possibilities under the context of studying digital citizenship. Families can, again, truly scale up or scale down any of these ideas in order to infuse these conversations into their daily lives.
Oh, I love the creation piece to share what they've learned in a creative way. What a great way to reinforce learning and make that information sticky in the brain. Do you have any other strategies that you use in your home with your kids? Do you have any best practices that families can utilize at home as they help their students in this quest to be good digital citizens?
2 of my children are away at college, And one particular practice that is helpful for all of my children, but definitely my college students, would be citations. Sometimes it's easy to get out of the habit of citing the original author. If students make video content at home and they are not rightly citing any of the images or the music, or the information for that matter, that they're utilizing in that video, this becomes a major plagiarism red flag. We don't want those habits to be formed early on. When we appropriately remind students that they need to cite any resource they use, this is a good practice to get into. It forms a long-term habit. What are some resources that might help our families as they navigate this point?
Well, there's a great tool that students can use called BibItNow. They don't need to memorize the correct MLA or APA format in order to cite an online source. It's an extension connected to their school account. So whenever or wherever they log in, they'll have access to this extension. When students find an online source that they would like to use for their assignment, they just click on the extension and the citation is created. They'll copy it by clicking the Copy Citation text button in the corner and paste it right into their document. It's super easy. It's easy to install this extension also by searching the BibItNow extension at the Chrome Web Store. Just click the blue button that says Add to Chrome, and then it will add the extension to the top of the browser on the right-hand side.
Oh my word, what a game changer! When we can make the road easier, it is so very helpful. When it comes to citing authors, that can feel like such an overwhelming task. An instrument like this can easily alleviate the concerns that some writers may have about rightly citing their work. The task is no longer burdensome. Instruments like the one you just mentioned are so very helpful. They release the writer from worrying so much about the perfectness of the works cited page. The student can then write freely knowing that all of those attributions are tidy and in spot. What a breath of fresh air, so very helpful. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Renee, what is another practice that you find helpful?
I like to use the acronym TASL, T-A-S-L. Whenever I want to use an image from the internet, I first check to make sure that I have the right to use the image. After doing a Google search for my topic, I click on Images at the top of the page just to see the results for images. I can click on the Tools button to find the usage rights. A choice drops down for Creative Commons licenses. When you click on this, a new page will put up all the images that are solely licensed under Creative Commons licenses and ready to use. Once I have chosen the perfect image, I just click on it to find the details associated with that image. So that's where the acronym TASL comes into play. If I'm creating a document, a slide deck, or a video, I want to cite and give attribution to the author of an image. I'm looking for the T, the title. The A is for author, the S for the source, and the L for license. The title is the title or the name of the image. The author is the person who created the image. The source is the website, such as Flickr, Wikimedia, or Photos for Class. The license is the type of license given by Creative Commons that the author has on the image. It's easy to find the license information because it will always start with the letter CC. I will then give attribution by citing these things right underneath the image. The acronym helps me to remember what I need to look for in order to cite an image. And I've also found that it helps my students remember what to look for when they're giving attribution.
I really like the use of the acronym you have here. I bet a lot of parents can use this quickly and easily to teach their children to use these same tools in their writing or their content creation.
For sure, we want to encourage creativity in school assignments by using images from the internet, but we also want to make sure we're giving attribution to the author. This acronym helps students to make sure they are being good digital citizens by giving proper attribution to the creator of the image. Melissa, did you want to share any other practices that students should use at home in this quest to be good digital citizens?
When I think about digital citizenship, I think about digital footprint. This isn't footprints in the snow or sand. These are the marks we leave when we spend time on the internet. When you leave a comment on someone's post, When you create a profile, when you upload an avatar, these all point back to you, the author of those items. A child may say something unkind in a public chat space. They may use sarcasm in a way that feels threatening to others, or they may create an account on a website not intended for children. Sadly, there are long-term consequences when we are not careful about what we post online. A 10-year-old is not thinking about getting their first job when they post a sour phrase online in a heated moment when they lose an online game. Their emotions impulsively and selfishly motivate them to react in a negative fashion. When children do not understand the impact of their negative behaviors, we need to counsel them otherwise. It is helpful that we share with them this information before it's too late.
Yeah, I completely agree. Teaching and counseling our children on digital citizenship is crucial as they navigate the digital world. Let's talk a little bit about how we as parents can be good digital citizens ourselves and model these desired behaviors.
I have not always modeled excellent strategies for my children. This truly is a set of deliberate behaviors.
Yeah, for sure. It is for me too.
I can easily get distracted on my phone, or I can justify why I'm on my phone for long periods of time. For example, I pay bills on my phone. I check my bank status on my phone. I read the news on my phone. I check text messages on my phone. I update parental controls on my phone for my household. That way I limit screen time for my own children. I make purchases on my phone. I track packages on my phone. I stay connected with family members by taking and sharing pictures, all on my phone. There are several things I do on my phone. Looking back as a child, my dad would read the newspaper at the kitchen table. He would read books in his chair. He would watch television to catch up on the news, and he would sit at his desk for long periods of time to pay bills and review the finances. These were behaviors where I was not interacting with him, but these were not all screens. Today, it is feasible for all of these things to happen on a tablet, an iPhone, a computer, or a cell phone. When I calculate the total number of hours I spend on screens at home, am I modeling healthy behaviors? Am I talking to my children? Are we playing games as a family? How frequently am I exercising? When can I perform a task without a screen? I go shopping with my daughter on Mondays. We run errands together. While I can absolutely purchase food via an app, sometimes, not always, I deliberately choose to have a face-to-face conversation with the person behind the counter. I can model kindness for my children as they watch me order items. Also, I could buy my groceries via Instacart, but I want to spend time with my daughter outside of our home, building community, in conversation, teaching her financial stewardship strategies. While I could purchase books for my phone or my iPad, I choose to hold books, paperbacks. When my children glance over at what I'm doing, they can instantly detect that I am reading a book. No question at all as to what I'm doing. They instantly know Mom is reading a book. That is a preference, but it is also a beneficial tool in my opinion. Now, please don't think that I have a sour opinion about digital books. This is not the case. I just like that my children know when I'm spending time engaging in non-screen activities, and I want to model a love for books. Games. This is another non-screen activity that I find is helpful in my home. Board games and card games are profoundly beneficial. They foster a host of different skills like interpersonal communication, conversation, relationship building, problem solving, following the rules, learning to lose graciously, linear sequential problem solving, reflection, how could I have done that differently, delayed gratification, strategy, and anger management. Oh, that list was long. When you lose, how do you respond? Are you satisfied with the way that you responded? How can you be a better team player next time? The conversations that happen when you're in a game situation help you form essential life skills over time. Those early conversations shape how children process the world around them, and they learn how to behave in a community as they grow up. Renee, what are some ways that you are using technology in your home? Maybe you aren't staying away from technology, and maybe you're using it. How does technology enhance your familial relationships?
Well, I just want to say first that I like what you said about being deliberate about your actions when modeling those behaviors. It is so easy for us to just sit around staring at a screen, ignoring those around you. And I do find that I do have to be deliberate about planning activities away from the glowing box, which is what we call it in our house. I do want to say that technology has been a good tool for keeping in touch with my 3 older children who have moved away from home, as well as other extended family members. It makes it so much easier to keep in touch and communicate. In fact, last night we were playing an online game with my mother, and sometimes we invite my children or cousins, aunts, uncles to play. And it kind of helps us keep in touch. We open up a Zoom so that we can chat face to face while playing. But yeah, we are a big game family. We do play a lot of games when we get together. So when we're far apart, we will use that online platform to play those games with each other. And a lot of them are free or cost just a small fee, so anyone on any budget can use these platforms.
Renee, we are just about out of time. Thank you so much for all of that fantastic information. I have a feeling that our parents have benefited from the information housed in today's discussion. This was time well spent. To our Endeavor families, we welcome your questions on our future Endeavor Charter Talks. Use the QR code located on the YouTube channel for the Endeavor Charter Talks, and you will locate the Google form. Provide us with any questions you may have for future topics. We will try to address those questions in our future podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us for today's podcast. If you missed our first session on digital citizenship, you can find that on the Endeavor Charter Talk YouTube channel. You can also find it on the school website.
This podcast is a project of Endeavor Charter School, part of Western Sierra Charter Schools. Watch for more information about upcoming podcasts on this and other educational topics via our school newsletter.